You probably missed this, but the United States just captured Venezuela's sitting president. Here's why you need to know what's going on. This wasn't some typical invasion that you've seen in the past. This is literally the United States military flexing its naval, air, ground, cyber superiority over all of its foes, which happened to be Maduro. This operation was called Absolute Resolve, and boy did they get their resolve all right. This operation took months of planning ahead. CIA officers were inserted months prior, began helping gather on-the-ground sources of intel. They also used SIGINT, listening to people's phone calls and communications. They also had ISR drones and other aircraft surveilling and following Maduro for months on end, knowing all his patterns of life, such as where he sleeps, what do you have for breakfast, what car he's driving that day, who's his mistress. They're gonna find out all that information and use it to form an actionable target package, which is what ended up happening. Let's talk about the target building. This is Fort Tiuna, which is located outside of Caracas, one of Venezuela's most populated cities. This is a super secure, built-up military base on the side of a mountain. It's got elevated firing positions, hardened entry points, bunkers, and thousands of troops stationed there. Another key part of this operation was the cyber warfare aspect. The power grid was targeted, meaning they shut down their power for Caracas. They had no power. The bases and all the surrounding areas basically went completely dark. Command and control breaks down, meaning that those commanders and those military forces for Venezuela cannot communicate to each other. So they're basically going in blind while the US is having free will taking out all of its air defense. Chinooks and Blackhawks were unleashed off of a nearby carrier filled to the brim with Delta Force, Army Rangers, US law enforcement, and CIA, ready to take it straight to Maduro. These talented pilots flew 100 feet above the water, nape of the earth, buzzing around, ensuring that they don't get hit while they're on their way to the target. Those pilots were taking small arms fire, man-portable missile systems, and other threats, but they were protected by the F-35s and F-22s above. The ground strike force was composed of Army Rangers from 375, conducting the outer cordon operations, isolating the target, preventing enemy from entering, exiting, and repelling any kind of counterattacks that would slow down the Delta guys while they do the direct action raid and grab Maduro. While this is going on, there's aircraft flying overhead, there's missile sites being attacked. This is full control chaos. The entire time while these dudes are fighting on the ground on this base, US F-22 Raptors and F-35s are above overhead, ensuring that no fighters launch off and that the helicopters stay safe while they're waiting to exfil. Delta forces finally breached the residence. They were informed ahead of time that there would be strong reinforced structures, so they brought extra tools such as torches, saws, and other things that would need to cut through any kind of barriers between them and Maduro. The craziest part about this is that the Venezuelan forces weren't even able to launch one aircraft. And that's because those F-35s, those F-22s were set up into different strike groups that were basically spawn camping the Venezuelan Air Force. So they didn't want to play. Confidential sources on the ground say that Maduro was on his way to lock himself in a panic room, and a Delta operator snatched him before he was able to get into the panic room. Delta Force was able to capture Maduro and his wife, bagged him, cuffed him, and then exfilled him off the target. The aftermath is Maduro and his wife have been extradited to the United States to New York to face charges for a multitude of different crimes, mostly related to cartel activities. I just want to thank all